Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 854. We're going to talk about personal branding tips. Who are you in 2026? But before we get started, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry Automotive. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Warren, Ismet, the whole team at Warren Henry who continues to be behind our podcast. They've been our sponsors for well over 15 years at this point. And I want to thank them for allowing me to project their brand by projecting my brand and allowing me to be their brand ambassador. Whenever you're looking to buy or lease a car, you always want to check out our friends at Warren Henry. We'll talk more about them a little bit later today. And now we're on for episode number 854. Pardon me while I scroll here. Miami Podcast Studios has me doing all kinds of new physical things while we're doing here. I want to remind everybody we're streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. Should we do TikTok? No, I didn't. Anyway, you can find us at Freed on Business or at Jim Freed. Yeah, TikTok's sort of off brand for us, isn't it? Miami Podcast Studios. Yeah, I love his comments. They're always physical, but he never says anything. Today, I'm going to be sharing my tips on personal brand management. Before I do that, I want to get started with a story. People ask me, why do you do the podcast? Once I talked to my good friend who's a brand manager, well, Bruce Turkel, my good friend Bruce Turkel. I said, Bruce, I get all these downloads, but I don't get pays for clicks. He goes, Jim, did you ever get business off your podcast? I go, yeah. He goes, okay, so what are you worried about? So the reality is that today's episode comes from a conversation I was having earlier today with a young person who just graduated from one of the big university real estate programs, been working for one of the big real estate companies for about a year. And he asked me about the podcast, wasn't really aware that I had. And he said, why do you do the podcast? And I sort of formulated this when I was going over with him. And the reason I do the podcast is this is how people get to know me. And so I guess I'm going to the bottom line before I do the rest of the podcast. But people do business with people that they like and know. And you're not going to really be able to get out there and meet and retouch all the people that you'd like to. But I've been doing business with international families for quite some time. And I had a call last year with a realtor out of a real estate broker out of Britain. And I asked him how he found me and how does he know me? And he says he watched the podcast. So, that's sort of the interesting bottom line to everything. I guess I should have given that at the end because that's when you do the bottom line, but whatever. I never go in order. So the first, now I got him to laugh. I don't know if he caught that. Miami Podcast Studios just laughed. High five. There you go. All right. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to know, who are you? You got to go a deep dive, find your personal values, because what in the end you're going to communicate on your podcast or your content that you're going to create or whatever way you're reaching out to project your brand is, first you got to know who you are. Who are you? As one of my favorite songs from The Who I did see in concert a few weeks ago, was who are you? You understand your core consistencies, your core beliefs, and how are you going to project that? What are you passionate about? What unique experiences define me? And so that self-evaluation is extraordinarily important. What makes you different? And for me, one of the things that makes me different is my core value, which we'll give in the bottom line when I talk about what my personal brand is. The next is, what's your unique value proposition? What makes you different? Now, for me, I know the answer to that, and anybody who knows me personally knows the answer to that. I'm very different than most people in the commercial real estate space. And one of the reasons is because I'll use another one of Bruce Turkel. This will be all about Bruce Turkel today without Bruce being here. But keep talking to Miami Podcast Studios over there. But this is sort of a testament to Bruce. You want to know, what is your value proposition? What is it that makes you different? Why do people want to do business with you? And the first thing you've got to understand is that it's always all about them. we say that many, many times on the show. Whenever you call me, it's always all about you, but people know that. People know that from constant interaction with me. I constantly reinforce that. And having these ways that you stand out differently in business really helps to identify you and attracts the type of person that you want to do business with. I've had a family office I'm doing business with. I'm talking to them today at 3:00. We're doing a lot of business together. I go, why me? And the person, the next gen person at the family office, who's a solid 20 years younger than me, said, is because I watched you, I saw you in person, I've seen you over and over in person, and you project the values that I want to create and that I want to project, that I want to be a part of, and they're unique and different in the business community. And so that really resonated with me. Another story that I really think helps to project what my personal brand is that I made the biggest sale of my life, or I guess the biggest social media presence, and the biggest get, because I don't consider it a sale, was, and I want to use this opportunity to thank Betty DiMartini, the young lady who donated her kidney to Vivian. How did she find us? Well, she originally wanted to donate her kidney to her aunt, but the transplant center dragged their feet, and her aunt passed before she could get cleared to donate, but she still wanted to donate. So she went online, then she looked on the internet, and finally on Craigslist, and she found an ad that we had placed on Craigslist. Thanks again to Chaya from Miami Kidney Mitzvah.com. Chaya placed the ad for us. And so she saw the ad, saw we were looking for a kidney, looked at the social media footprint that I created, and that resonated with her. She saw that I was spiritual and in love with my wife, and that's what she was looking for. What did I really do? I projected who my wife and I were, and I would continuously post on social media using hashtags like spiritual, love, kindness, togetherness as hashtags, and so the content was directed at people like that. You've got to be able to tell your story clearly and consistently. I know that I do that because every week I'm out here now for episode number, 854? 854 times I've been out here. First as a radio show that was an hour-long format, and as time evolved, so did the show. It's now this 20-minute podcast, and this week, Miami Podcast Studios, I think we're going to use StreamYard to start doing micro stuff that we can put on some of these quick feeds so people can watch in 10 seconds, and if they like more, they can get more. By the way, the show in this sort of long format since COVID started has had 7,500 downloads. I'm pretty proud of that. Build a strong, aligned, consistent online presence. People will look at you online. They will Google you. That's right. You Google everybody else. You don't think they're doing it about you? And that's who you are. So you need to be out there creating content that reinforces your personal brand and what you bring to the table that's unique. Because the reality is that everybody is the same. I tell this to the young people that I mentor at UF all the time. Everybody's qualified. You don't get to the point of being invited to be at the table if you're not qualified. The difference is people do business with people they like. Another high five to Bruce Turkel for teaching me that one too. People do business with people they like, and I'll add people that they respect. But I think more than that, people they like. And you need to project who you are. You need to have it hit the people that you want to have it hit, or have it searchable so that they can find you, and then reinforce it over and over again with consistency. Consistency is a very big part of it. You have to create value-driven content. I got to say that anybody who's looked at any of our Freedom Business content sees that it's all about values. Look at what we've talked about for the past 5 or 10 minutes. It's all been about my personal value system. And I want to give this to Rebecca Carlson, who always reminds me, this is one of my taglines. I look to have value system aligned with people in my life. It creates comfort for me. And I got to believe that everybody else in business really wants that in the end too. Yeah, they want to like you. Yeah, they want to have you deliver positive services, but that's just the point of entry. The next is having value system alignment so you can have long-term business relationship with them. You got to be authentic and human. I already told the story about how Betty DiMartini found us and why she helped Vivian move forward in life. It's been 8 years. I thank Betty DiMartini. It was 8 years this weekend, and Betty DiMartini was brought into our life and gave my wife a long-term solution to her kidney disease. You can how to build and maintain relationships. One of the things I do with the podcast is I send it out to everybody on my email list, and I update that list. People go, who listens to your email? I don't have it with me, but I usually go like this, and I show them the 1 inch of business cards that I collected at the event. And I send this to people. Now, they can opt out if they want, but I've got thousands and thousands of people that don't opt out. They may not watch every episode. They may not see every episode, but they do see that I'm out there. And this week I'm talking about personal branding. And you don't think everybody wants to know about how to build a positive personal brand? You do, or you wouldn't be here at this point in the podcast. Now, the other thing I do is you got to keep your brand consistent across platforms. I work again with Rebecca Carlson and her team at Carlson Integrated for doing this. Same colors, same approach, same style, same fonts across all the social media platforms. I'm actually going to update this because the branding for my business, Sandstone Realty Advisors, is different. It's sort of beige and blue. We're going to turn that around. We're going to make that black and red too, because I really think that that's something that stands out. And quick side note, when you make your new business cards, make it so that somebody can write on it. You go, people don't use business cards. Well, listen, I went to the ICSC in Orlando, the ICSC in New York. I got news for you. Every big company had the rack of the business cards of everybody else, if for no other reason, so you can write on the back. Because if you don't have the business card, I got to put it in my phone. I got to send it to myself on an email. It's a real multi-problematic situation. You got to measure your impact and refine your strategy. So you go, Jim, how do you do that? I look who opens up the emails. I got one of the best family offices, a family office out of Europe, by looking and seeing who opened up my emails, following up with that person and reaching out to them. And continuously, I saw what emails they opened up. I saw what was important to them. And I used those topics as a touchdown. Miami Podcast Studios, we're going to throw it back to you and stick with us for the bottom line after this. All right, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry Automotive for allowing me to be their brand ambassador for 15 plus years. I know that all of you, my friends, my clients, my family, we're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Why? Because Warren Henry lives up to their tagline, my tagline. When you reach out to them and you do business with them, you're part of their family. You're all about them. Whether you go to Gainesville to buy an Audi, whether you go to their main store to 151st and Biscayne for Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar, Lincoln. I got my Lincoln there. I love my Lincoln. All the people in the Chabad Hanukkah party saw my Lincoln when I put the little light on the top and drove around Wynwood, bringing light to the world. Well, they saw the inside of my Lincoln, and boy, were they impressed. It's like multiple TV screens, that fancy wraparound monitor that you have. That's the front of my car. It's amazing. And you get great service. You become part of the Warren Henry family. You get the Warren Henry advantage. When I need service, I bring it in. They give me a loaner if I need a loaner. They take care of me in and out, and they treat me like gold. So you want to know about personal branding? Warren Henry and I, we're together on this. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, welcome back to this edition of Freedom Business. We're talking about building your personal brand and projecting who you are to help you build business and project your energy into the world. And I want to thank my good friend, Brewster Kell, who'll be on soon. And in an upcoming episode, we're going to talk more about personal branding tips with Bruce. But now we're going to have the bottom line. And I want to remind everybody, reach out to me, call me, email me, whatever you want. I help family offices build their business by listening to them and projecting their values and bringing my good energy to team with them to reach out to the world. So, boy, I think I just gave the bottom line, Mr. Miami Podcast Studios. The bottom line is, what's my personal brand? My personal brand is I feel great. I feel fulfilled when I help other people achieve their goals and objectives. How do I do that? I listen to them. I project this content. People see this content. They feel like they have a personal affinity and a oneness with me, and they work with me because they can hire anybody. They can work with anybody. I work with the best retail developers, the best multifamily developers, the best industrial developers, the best capital sources. But those people and those organizations only will work with somebody that reflects who they are. That's why for 15 years, our friends at Warren Henry Automotive have been affiliated with Freedom Business, because we project their personal brand. We project the fact that you're family with Warren Henry. And when you work with me, like I always like to say, like Brewster Kell always tells me, this is my brand. It's always all about you. So reach out to me, call me, look for our other content. If you missed something on today's episode, look us up on wherever you get the podcast, wherever you get anything, you can find us. Google Jim Fried. Like I said, everybody's going to Google you. You'll find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all the different things on my socials, all the rebroadcasts, 7,500 downloads in the last 5 years at Jim Fried or at Freedom Business. Head on over to the YouTube page, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your content, you're going to find me, and you're going to find a consistent message. That message is that whenever you call me, it's always all about you. And remember, the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Miami Podcast Studios, the rest of the podcast is yours.